Visitors flying between Singapore and China under a new fast lane for essential travel won't have to be quarantined for 14 days, but there will still be strict requirements, including passing 2 swab tests. It's all part of new protocols outlined by the Ministries of Trade and Industry and Foreign Affairs. The changes, which begin on Monday, will ensure the safe and gradual resumption of air travel. It starts with travel between Singapore and 6 Chinese cities.
Singaporean or Chinese travellers applying for the fast green lane must first secure a sponsor in the destination country, who will file for an application on the applicant's behalf. If approved, travellers must apply for a visa if needed. 48 hours before departure, they will have to take a swab test and will only be allowed to fly if it comes back negative. Upon arrival at the destination airport, travellers will again be swabbed and then isolated in a government-designated site in China, or in Singapore's case, a non-residential accommodation. The results will be known within 48 hours and travellers will be released once they test negative. Travellers have to bear costs for the tests and for treatment if they test positive. Visitors must download the contact tracing app used in the destination country. They'll need to keep strictly to their itinerary for the first 14 days while travelling. There will not be a 14-day quarantine requirement as practiced in other countries. The Fast Green Lane initiative aims to help essential businesses continue with clear safeguards in place.
Mr. Wee, does this Fast Green Lane assuage any concerns that businesses here might have on their overseas investments?
We've got businesses that want to re-engage with their trading counterparts. We've got businesses that procure from China. We have biotech companies that need to go there and ready for China clinical trials. And to not be able to travel there to look after your investment puts a lot of uncertainty. We certainly look forward to more of the Chinese cities opening up very quickly.
For inbound travel to Singapore, travellers can submit applications through their respective sponsors from 8th June. Singapore is also negotiating with Australia and New Zealand on a similar travel arrangement. Transport Minister Koh Boon Wan emphasised in a Facebook post that testing and health status certification will be key. Airlines will not fly those who test positive. He added that Singapore Airlines will be flying to 27 cities in June and July, up from the current 15 cities.
Now, as Singapore prepares to gradually reopen air transport links, here's a look at the timeline of travel restrictions imposed to control COVID-19. On January 29th, Singapore stopped entry and transit for all visitors who had travelled to China's Hubei province in the past 14 days. It also applied to Chinese nationals with passports issued in Hubei. Now, this restriction was extended on 1st of February to all new visitors with recent travel history to mainland China and Chinese passport holders, but it did not apply to Singapore permanent residents and long-term pass holders. Now, later that month, as COVID-19 started spreading in South Korea, Singapore barred visitors who had recently travelled to Daegu City and Cheongdo County. This was extended on 4th of March to all visitors with recent travel history to South Korea, Iran and northern Italy. And then on March 16, visitors with recent travel history to Italy, France, Spain and Germany were not allowed to enter or transit through Singapore. A week later, restrictions were tightened further as Singapore closed borders to all short-term visitors. And on May 20th, the government announced that Singapore will gradually allow travellers to transit through Changi Airport from 2nd of June. It's part of a strategy to gradually reopen all transport links to meet the needs of the economy.